Hey, good afternoon, and thank you so much, ZenMade, for including me in this year's ZenMade Summit. I'm really excited to share with you guys today some exciting ideas of tough lessons that I learned that I wish I knew when I started my cleaning business. For those of you that are just joining me for the first time, I'm Angela Brown. I'm the CEO of Savvy Cleaner, which is a worldwide training program that has trained over 4,300 cleaning businesses around the world. And so I'm really excited to share with you some of the recurring lessons that we keep coming up with. Now, I'm going to ask as we get started today that you not multitask. I've made some notes for you, and the slide deck is available to you, so you don't have to do screenshots. You can if you want, but this is available to you at the end of the session. So I want to make sure that you are just tracking with me, but make your own notes, because some of the stuff that I say today is going to hit you, but it might hit you in a different way than what I say. It might trigger an idea of your own that you go, oh, wait a second, I need to be doing this, okay? So those are your gold nuggets. So go ahead and make a note of that. All right, as we begin today, I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to share with you the ideas that we're going to cover. And then if you have any questions whatsoever, we've got Facebook groups. You can find me over at Ask Angela Brown on any of the social media. And then also you can join our Savvy Cleaner training program where twice a month I meet you live and we troubleshoot your business and we answer your questions and all of those things. Okay, so let's jump in and get started. All right, the first blind spot that I didn't see coming was that maintenance and deep cleaning are two completely different packages. Imagine you go to a restaurant and you have two different items on the menu. This is just like that. You're ordering two completely separate things. And if you do a maintenance clean, and that's what the customer's paying for, and that's what your agreement says you're going to do, that is what you teach your customer to expect from you. But if you go to a customer's house and you do a maintenance clean, which is what's on your checklist, and then you do some deep cleaning items, what you're doing is you're training your customer that you don't need a deep cleaning. And that's actually a separate package that we charge for. The reason I bring this up is because if you're charging for two separate things and you give them the deep cleaning on a maintenance clean, they're going to cancel your deep cleaning from you. And so my suggestion is be very crystal clear about what it is you offer and then only do what they are paying for at the cleaning. Maintenance cleaning is not deep cleaning. It's a separate package. Okay. So hindsight is 20/20, and that's one of the things that I learned. So keep them separate. All right. The next one is punctuality. Now, it's odd, but a lot of house cleaners think that they can give a range and then just randomly show up whenever they want to show up or within that range. The truth of the matter is that really throws customers off because customers have schedules just like we do. And so they've got doctor's appointments, they got to pick up kids from school, they have errands they've got to run that fall within a certain range. Businesses are only open during certain hours of the day. And so if they're at their home and they're waiting for you to come so they can let you in, or they're waiting for you to leave so that they feel like there's nobody in the house and they can lock up when they leave and they can go do their stuff. If you stay and you're there an extra hour or 2 hours or whatever, it's going to throw them off and they're going to get wigged out over that over a period of time. Okay. So the reality is, pick a time. I don't care what it is. Pick a time. Put it on your schedule. Let them put it on their schedule and then show up when you say you're going to be there. And then if you have a range, make sure you are gone at that time. So if you know in your head, your window is from 12 until 3, be there at 12 and be gone by 3. Don't stretch it out till 3:30. Don't be there till 4. Even if it's your last house of the day, get out and create a pattern of you getting out at 3 o'clock because the customer says, oh, great, I can leave and go run my errands or I can pick up my kid from school or whatever at 3 o'clock. The reason that's important is because everything runs off of a schedule. And the minute you understand that, the minute you will escalate your business and separate it from all the other cleaning businesses that are out there. So make sure you honor their time just like they do. All right, the next one is clarity. I get this all the time. There are house cleaners that will say, I got to the customer's house and then the customer said, can you do this today? And they add it on to the expectation list. Well, the reality is when you go to the customer's house and you do a walkthrough and you create a checklist and you create a contract or an agreement that says you're going to pay me X amount of dollars in exchange for this service. If the extras are not part of that service, then don't do them. Okay. The clarity is, how will you know when my job is done? And be very crystal clear about what that looks like. Because if the customer's not sure you finished your job, they're going to keep asking, can you do this? Can you do that? Did you do this? Did you do that? And you want to make sure that when you leave, they look at the work and they go, yep, my house cleaner came. They did a great job. I'm willing to pay for today's service. So make sure the expectations are crystal clear. And that's one of the reasons why I really strongly encourage you to use a checklist, because at the end of the cleaning, you know what you've done and they know what you've done, right? So make sure that you are crystal clear on your expectations. All right, the next one is people pleasing. Now, this is a trick because house cleaning attracts people pleasers. We want to do a good job for our customers. We want them to love us. We want to show them that we can make their house a better place. And it's really tempting when you go to a customer's house and they have expectations like, polish my floor today and really give it some extra attention. Well, you should be doing that anyway, okay? But don't go overboard and let them watch you polish their floor for an extra 20 minutes just because you're a people pleaser, right? You've got to learn to do your job and be efficient, be quick at it. And this is exactly what I'm delivering, and deliver it consistently every single time. And then in this particular photo, we're washing windows. Question is, does your company wash windows? And the answer is no. Most house cleaning companies don't wash windows. That's a separate job for someone else. Okay. So are you washing their windows because they asked you, or because you're trying to please them because that's your personality? And the answer is, if it's not on the menu and that's not what they're paying for, don't do it. Okay. Imagine going to a restaurant and you go in and you sit down, and there's a chef there that really loves what he does. And he says, hey, I want this customer to get a little bit of everything. And so he gives you the entree that you ordered, and he gives you free drinks and free dessert, and free appetizers, and the restaurant would go out of business, right? As a customer, yes, you would love that. And you would go back again and again. But the problem is the restaurant would eventually go out of business because there are so many freebies being given. So I want you to think in terms of a menu and what did the customer order? And if all they order is a maintenance clean, then don't be a people pleaser and try to throw in extras and give them the free appetizers and the free drinks and the free desserts, because that quickly is how you too will go out of business. All right, next one. Undercutting your prices. So as Savvy Cleaner, one of the first things that we teach you is not to give discounted pricing. And the reason being is when you discount your pricing, you are training your customers to nickel and dime you. You are training them that every time you come, they're going to go, oh, well, I didn't use my dining room this week. Can I have a discount and just take $10 off the price this week? No, that's not how it works. I still had to get out of my office and I had to come over here and get in my car and do all the inventory and bring my cleaning supplies, bring my cleaning caddy, get in my uniform. I mean, I'm here. I've blocked out so much time. You don't get to take money off because you didn't use your dining room this week, right? And so one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was by discounting your pricing, what you're doing is you're teaching your customer that your price can be negotiated, and it cannot. It's a contract. When we did the walkthrough, what we discovered and what we decided early on is that in exchange for this array of services, and I do this, meaning the items on the checklist, in exchange for X amount of dollars. Okay. So that price equals that service. And so we don't discount our price, and I'm not discounting my services. And so when it comes time for you to add extras, or if you want a discount, you got to call our office and you have to take something off or you have to add something on, and the price will change, but that requires a new walkthrough. And most customers will go, oh, that's just too much of a headache. Of course it is. Anytime you revise the contract, the pricing that you had locked in originally goes away. And now there's a new pricing and a new walkthrough. And so most customers will say, never mind, I'll stick with whatever we agreed to. Yay! That's what we wanted. All right, next one. Burnout. Avoid burnout by building systems that support you. Now, I wish that in the few minutes that I have here with you today, I could teach you all of the standard operating procedures and all of the systems that will save your business. But that's what Savvy Cleaner training is all about. We will take you one by one through all the different areas of your business, and we will help you build them from the ground up. And we will give you ones that we've already built over the last 33 years in the business that can sustain your business, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But what I'm talking about today, and in the short time that we have today, is I want to teach you that one of the most important things to do is to create systems that will save you. And that's something like the checklist. The checklist is a foolproof way that every single time you go into a customer's house, you're going to deliver the same exact things on that menu. And if you call out sick and you have to hire a replacement for you, they're going to take the same checklist and they're going to go into the customer's house and they're going to do the same things they were trained to do in the same way you trained them to do it. And that way the customer gets a consistent service every single time. So they're not going to call and go, whoa, I have a different service today because someone new came to my house. No, it's a system that will save you. Okay. The booking is a system that will save you. If you have a particular way that you run your business and you say, this is how we book our jobs, and everybody on the team does the same system, that system will save you. There won't be people that will be making promises that you can't keep. There won't be customers that get accommodations that other customers don't get. It will be consistent across the board. And you will never find yourself in a trap where a customer will say, well, I don't want anyone from your company to come except you because you do stuff to my house or you do stuff to my schedule or you make accommodations for me that the other cleaners don't make, right? We find ourselves in this trap where we have done accommodations and we've made promises and we've done special favors for a customer that when we go on vacation, we have a family emergency, or we need to replace ourselves by hiring someone else, the customers don't want anyone else because we have jumped through hoops for them in a way that is not scalable. Okay. So we will burn out really quickly if we don't pay attention to the fact that the systems we put in place are designed to run our business smoothly and later without us so that we can turn around and sell our businesses, or we can take a vacation, or we can take care of elder parents or new babies or whatever it is. If we have to step back from our business, the business runs seamlessly without us. And if you don't do that, you're just going to race through always trying to deliver what is promised in a way that will cause nothing but stress and burnout and anxiety. And then you'll hate your business and then you'll hate yourself. So don't do that. Okay. All right. The next one is hiring new employees. Oh, this is such a fun one. When we run our business, it's easy to become overwhelmed as our business starts to grow. And we say, oh my goodness, I need to hire somebody because I can't do all the work myself. Okay. So what we do is we hire somebody and we are desperate. I'm going to share a secret with you. A person that will accept your job offer is also a person who is desperate. So what happens is we go in thinking, I got to hire somebody because I'm desperate and I really need some extra help. And then you hire someone and they're thinking, I'm really behind on my bills and I need to get a job and I need a company that's going to offer me benefits and flexible pay and overtime and all the things. And they're hoping that you are going to save them. I call that a sinking ship. If you have a sinking ship and you're trying to bail out water, you don't want a rescue boat that is also a sinking ship bailing out water to come rescue you. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on hiring when business is good, not when business is bad, when business is good. Before you get stressed out, before you get overwhelmed, and before you start pulling your hair out and you're like, I can't do this all by myself. Don't hire someone when you're desperate. Wait until you're not desperate. Because the person that you want to hire is somebody who's already happily employed. They already have a job. They already know about showing up every day on time with a great attitude, right? You're not looking for a desperate person that's sitting around that doesn't have a job or that just got fired for misbehavior at their last job. That is not who you're looking for. So start hiring, and I say always be hiring. Always be in a position of, if somebody good comes along, you want to snag them and say, hey, come work for our company. We would love to have you because you seem like you are well organized and you're a nice person and you got a great attitude and you're teachable, right? Always be hiring, but not when you are desperate. Okay. Next one. Hire part-time. This goes without saying, but most house cleaners have not been cleaning for 8 hours a day when you hire them. And so when you hire somebody new and they're all excited about the job and you hire them and you plug them into a full schedule, or you're training them for the first 2 or 3 weeks and they go on all the jobs with you, what happens is by about the third week, they ache like crazy. It's like working out for 3 weeks solid when you've never worked out before. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, my back and my joints and oh, I hurt. Well, you know what? In cleaning, we do a lot of movement, like getting behind a toilet and cleaning, and we're on our hands and knees and we're moving around and we're mopping, and our shoulders and our arms have had a lot of movement. Guess what? If you do that for 8 hours a day out of nowhere, in 3 weeks, you're going to burn out flat. And we get a lot of turnover in a lot of businesses where they hire full-time cleaners. My recommendation is don't. Hire 4 days a week for up to 4 hours a day. That allows the new cleaner to go on one job with you. And if you are the lead or you are the person that's training them, you can manage that first house. And then you're not exhausted trying to train them the whole entire day. Let them go, let them recoup, let them look for another job if they want. They might not even be right for this business. But in the first 90 days, keep them on a part-time schedule. What will happen in the first 90 days if they're really good and they love this? They're going to pick up really quickly. And they're going to start building momentum. And with the momentum and the confidence of knowing how to clean and what the systems are, they're going to start getting faster and faster at what they do. Then when they are ready, they can come to you and say, hey, I'm ready for extra hours. And if they're ready for extra hours and they're able to physically do the demanding work, then you can put them on other jobs. But in the first 90 days, make sure that you have a little bit of breathing room yourself. Even if you're a lead or if you're outsourcing it to a lead in your business, training for 8 hours a day is exhausting to anyone. And so you want to make sure that you are very clear about, okay, you're going to train with one person on a house, then you're going to only clean a house by yourself for the afternoon, and you don't have to train anyone the second house. That way they get a little bit of breathing room and they can still earn money that's not all out massive action. Right? So don't hire anybody full-time, at least starting out. And that way, if they're not right for the business, they have a chance to go look for another job. And so they still get money coming in. But what's going to happen is this: if they love the job and it's only 4 hours a day, they have all the rest of the day to recover and recoup and physically be ready and fresh for the next day's start. So never hire full-time when you're starting out. All right, the next one. Cleaners don't leave over money alone. Everybody is motivated by different things. So when you hire somebody, one of the first questions you should ask in your interview is, what motivates you? Are you motivated by money? Are you motivated by time off? Are you motivated by appreciation? What is it that motivates you? But I'll share this with you because house cleaning attracts people pleasers. One of the things that I have discovered is if we appreciate our cleaners, and we let them know that verbally. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the great job you did today. Oh my goodness. They're people pleasers. That speaks volumes. That goes all the distance. And they're like, oh, I want to show up to this job. I'm appreciated for the work that I do. Because what happens? We go home after a full day of cleaning. We go home and there's our husband and our kids, or our wife and our kids, and they are grumpy. They never say thank you for cleaning the house. They don't appreciate anything we do. All they do is whine and nag because they're disappointed in life. So it's easy to go home and be really disenchanted. Like, I worked all day. I made someone's life better. And then I get home to my own house and no one appreciates me. So if you have a house cleaner and they show up to work, make sure you are the one that appreciates them. At the end of the day, say, hey, I'm so glad you work for our company. Thank you so much for being a team player. Thanks so much for helping the coworker here that you worked with today. Thank you so much for leaving our customers with cleaner homes. They love the work that you're doing. And inspire them to keep wanting to come back, because appreciation goes a long, long way in this business, right? So if you're hiring somebody, if nothing else, even if you don't have bonuses and incentives and pay for performance bonuses, make sure that at least you appreciate the cleaners that come work for your company. All right, the next one is drama free. I wished I'd learned this so many years earlier than I did. But I started, even in my ads, when I hire people, I started adding in my ad. This is a drama free company. We don't do drama. We don't pick fights with each other. We don't gossip about each other behind each other's backs. We don't gossip about our customers. If you got problems from home, leave them at home. Don't bring them to work with you. And I made a mistake when I first started my business at my house because I interviewed cleaners at my house. I had these two beautiful plants right by the outside of my door. And I say, leave your troubles and your woes inside the plants before you come inside. Oh my goodness, my plants died. I think all the negative energy killed my plants. I'm not kidding. So finally I said, look, leave it at home. Don't even bring it with you. Like, don't even bring it as far as your vehicle. Leave your drama at home. And I'm really clear about that because our business is a safe place. And when you create a safe working environment, and from day one, you tell people, listen, if you're a drama queen, this is not the right job for you. People start to go, oh, wait a second, I'm having a drama queen sort of day. Don't bring it to work with you, right? Let us know in advance that you're having sensitivities and let us be careful so that we can tippy-toe around you. But we don't want to get in a situation where we're bringing our drama to the job and then for whatever reason, we're eking that energy out on our customers and clients. That's not fair to them. They might have a safe place that is their home. And the problem is when we're done with our cleaning, we leave for the day and they have to stay there. So if we bring our drama and our bad energy into their home, what happens when we leave? It stays there. And they're like, I feel horrible. I feel my house cleaner is really high maintenance and she has all these problems or he has all these problems. And I don't know how to deal with that. And I don't know how to manage that. So don't force your customer or your coworker, if you're working on a team, to be your therapist. They're not your therapist. We work as cleaners all day in our heads. And I say in our heads, we keep playing tapes over and over, whether we did a good job or a bad job, or we got in a fight with somebody and we keep playing that stuff over and over in our heads. My recommendation to you is don't play negative stuff in your head over and over again. Don't bring your drama to work. And whatever you do, do not share it with your coworkers and do not share it with your customers. Okay? They're not your therapists. All right, next one. Document everything. This is one I really wish I'd learned early on. But if it's important, it needs to be documented. If you hire employees, everything you do from the initial ad that you ran that specified the job and the job requirements needs to be documented. When you make them a job offer, that needs to be documented. When they accept the job agreement needs to be documented. If you have a non-disclosure or you have a non-compete, that needs to be documented. If they misbehave or you got to write them up for some reason, that needs to be documented. And so everything you do in your business needs to be documented. And it sounds like it's a really overwhelming thing. It's not once you have systems in place. And right now there's a bunch of software. There are AI tools that we have available to us. There's a whole bunch of stuff that will help you streamline the process. And so my focus is if anything ever malfunctions, you don't want to be left holding the bag. You don't want to have to go to a civil case to, make sure that you're not at fault or whatever. And if you do, you want to be able to easily access all of the records that you have, pull them up, say, hey, here are all my files, knock yourself out, check it out. Everything is documented and it's right up front. My suggestion to you would also be in your employee files to also let the employee have a copy of the employee files. And the reason we do this, and Savvy Cleaner, we do this through a shared Google Drive. If they send me a text, I screenshot it and I put it inside their employee file. I don't ever want them to say, oh, yes, we had this conversation when no, we didn't. Or they say, no, we didn't have a conversation. Yes, we did. It was in a text and here it is. So I don't prefer the text. I prefer that we go through a different piece of software so it's all documented in one place. But if they sidestep that and we try to have a conversation, I would like it recorded or I would like it to be documented so that nobody promises things that can't be delivered. So make sure that you document everything because that will save you long term, especially if something goes awry. And that also goes for if you have a business partner. So if you have a business partner or you hire your mother, your brother, your sister, your best friend, they have to go through the interview process just like everybody else. They have to sign employee documents just like everybody else. They get to have an employee file just like everybody else. And if you write them up just like anybody else, you document it. Okay? Doesn't matter who it is, but that's how you run a business. And so if you're playing favorites and some rules don't apply to other people, that's going to get you in trouble later on. So let this be a lesson right now. Document everything. All right. The next one is trust. We build trust into our systems by doing things consistently. How does your company handle alarm codes and lockbox codes or house keys? If you don't have a system, what's going to happen is one day you're going to lose a customer's key. Then you're going to call the customer in a panic and go, oh no, I lost your key. They're going to go, whoa, wait a second, you're very disorganized. I don't feel safe giving you a key to my house again because now you lost the key that I have. There's a key to my house that's floating around out there somewhere. And you're not very organized. I got a problem with that. The next one is pets. How do you deal with pets? Are you randomly dealing with people's pets in a different way every single time? My suggestion to you is on the walkthrough, ask the homeowner, will you be there with your pet when I arrive? Here's the reason. I want you to introduce me to your pet during the walkthrough. We have to deal with people's pets. So if the homeowner is gone and you show up to a house to clean house for the first time and you've never met the customer's pet, that's a problem because pets take their cues from their homeowners. And so they don't know if they can trust you or not. They don't know you. But if they meet you for the first time with their owner and the owner's, hey, how you doing? I'm so glad that you're here. They're taking cues going, oh, my homeowner recommends and respects this person that's going to be the house cleaner. So the very first time you do a walkthrough, one of the things that I recommend is that you put on your latex or your nitrile gloves on the walkthrough and that you hold your hand out to the pet on the introduction. Let them smell the latex on your glove because that's a funny smell. And every time you come to clean the house, you're going to be putting those latex or nitrile gloves on, right? When you put that on, you'll do the same thing on the 60-second entry. When you get inside a customer's house, you're going to put on your latex gloves and hold out your hand to the pet. What happens is the pet, the cat or the dog or the gerbil or whatever it is, will smell that and go, oh yes, this is the house cleaner that my homeowner trusts. Okay? They're not going to attack you and be chasing you down and giving you a horrific experience if the homeowner has introduced you properly. So make sure that you have a system in place because that builds trust with the homeowner. It builds trust with the pet that you have to interact with at every single cleaning. Okay. And then the next one is breakage. We build trust by telling the homeowners up front, I will break stuff at your house. And they go, what? You're going to break stuff? Well, I don't mean to. And every time it ever happens, I mean, it breaks my heart. I'm very sad that I broke something at your house. But it happens when you're picking up thousands of things a day and you're wiping them down and you're dusting underneath them. Eventually something will break. And it happens 3 or 4 times a year. And I always hate when it happens, but I will always tell you and I will always make good on it. I will always replace it. So if something is broken at your house and I didn't tell you about it, I didn't do it. Okay. What happens is when you tell them that up front and then you follow through on that, in the event that one day they're wandering through their house and they see something that's broken, because they will, okay, they're not going to think you did it. Why? Because you said you would always tell them. Now, I was accused one time of breaking something I didn't break. And somebody told the neighbor, oh, the house cleaner broke that. And you know what the neighbor said? No, she didn't. She didn't break it because she would have told you. That's who Angela is. And the reason I bring that up is because that builds trust. And when people will recommend you and refer you to their friends, there's a stable constant that they know. They'll show up on time. They're going to tell you if they break something. They're going to introduce themselves to your pets. They're going to always have a system for your house keys or your alarm codes. Everything that they have is confidential. They're not going to talk or gossip about you behind your back to the neighbors. And they have a series of these things that build trust and confidence in your brand. So the reason I bring this up is because if this is the way you operate your business, you're never going to look back because so many cleaning businesses don't have these basic systems in place. Okay. So make sure that you build trust by being trustworthy. All right. The next one is time management. Okay, it's easy to get to a customer's house, and then for some reason they go off on a weird tangent and y'all chitty chat and you're there an hour longer than you expected to be. Newsflash. Your business is not just about cleaning. It includes a whole bunch of other things like marketing and social media and hiring and doing customer service and bookkeeping and admin and a whole bunch of other things. So my suggestion to you is this: block out your time on a calendar so that at a glance you know exactly where you need to be and when you need to be there. And so if you can only clean 2 houses in a day and you are done by 3 p.m., you are not done by 3 p.m. Your next appointment starts at 3:15. And that means you better get out of there and you better get back home and you got to get to your office, your home office, so that you can do your bookkeeping and your marketing and your social media and your returning calls and all of the other things that you do. It's really easy to get caught in a trap where you say, oh, this is my last house of the day, so it's okay. We're friends. I'll just stay and chat for an extra half hour. You do not have the latitude to do that, because that is time away from your business that you will never get paid for. And it's true, you might be friendly with the customer. And if that's true and you love chatting with them, do yourself this favor and say, hey, this sounds like a really great conversation we're about to get into, and I want to have this. Let's go to lunch sometime when I'm not on the clock and I don't have to get back and run the rest of my business. Okay, let's meet for coffee or let's meet for lunch or something like that. But I gotta get going. I can't stay today. They will respect you more for that than if you stay and you eat up their time. Because what happens is you start training your customer, it's okay to eat up a half hour or an hour of my time. Then you come back again and they're like, oh, that's my free therapist. And they're not paying you for therapy. Okay. And then they'll eke their problems on you. Now you got to go home and take all their problems back to your office with you. And you've wasted and frittered away all this extra time. Time is your most valuable asset. And there are only 168 hours in a week. And you're never going to get any more than that. So if you fritter it away and you waste it away, that's an investment in your life you will never get back. Okay. So be very clear about how you're spending your time. Because if you're running a business, and I want to really emphasize this, if you're running a business, that is part of your life. That is not your whole life. And I don't want you to spend your whole life only working and wasting away time. And you get home and you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I have no time for anything else. Don't do that. Manage your time because it is your most valuable resource. All right. The next one is being fully insured. There are a whole lot of house cleaners that think they can just say that they're insured and pretend like they are, and then they'll get hired and that's okay. The reality is that's not okay. If you don't have a certificate of insurance that is active, that says you're insured from this date to this date for X amount of dollars and it's covered for so much liability, you're not insured. And that's a really important distinction because it protects you and it protects the customer. But a lot of homeowners won't even hire you unless you're insured. And homeowners are getting a lot more savvy in that they're asking for the certificate of insurance. So don't try to trick them. Don't lie. Don't pretend like you're insured if you're not. Literally go be insured. Okay. It's a very small price to pay for a big, bad what if. And big, bad what ifs happen. They really do happen. There are going to be things that are out of your control that you totally didn't see coming. And you're going to sit there and go, oh, I wish that I had some money to cover this because I'm responsible for it. And I got to repair this or replace it. Here's how it works. The last person that touched the item is the person that has to pay for it. So if you're at a customer's house and you wash the shower door and for whatever reason it crumbles in front of you, and that's happened so many times to so many house cleaners, the shower door just breaks. If it breaks and you are the last person that touched it, guess what? You're the one that replaces it. Even if you're like, I didn't do anything. Let me check. Yeah, you did. And so you're going to get blamed for it and you have to replace it. So whether it's in your care, custody, and control are you the person that's the last one to touch it? And here's something that you need to know. How the insurance company looks at that is, are you trained? And so if you have something that you're spraying on a surface and you spray the wrong cleaning solution on a surface and it damages the surface, like it leaves streaks or it stains it or it etches it or something like that, the insurance company may not cover it. They might say that's in your care, custody, and control, which is the legal verbiage for that. They're going to say you are supposed to know by training what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, guess what? They're not going to cover it. So even if you're fully insured and you don't know what you're doing and you're not trained, they may not cover it. So you want to make sure that number one, you're trained. Number two, that you're fully insured. And that way there are going to be no surprises for anyone. When you go to a customer's house and they say, hey, what do you use when you clean this? You're going to be able to rapid fire the cleaning solutions that you use and the method or the technique that you use. Okay. So be prepared for those questions, but also be fully insured so that there are no surprises, because there's some super interesting people out there that will try to trick you into saying, oh, you damaged this, that, and the other, which is why we document, we take photos, and we do a damage report within 10 minutes of our arriving at the house. We do a 360 walk around of the whole entire property to make sure that there's no damage that we're going to have to eat later or have to pay for with our insurance or out of pocket. So make sure that you are fully prepared and fully insured. All right. Next one. Profit and loss statement. Oh, this is good, isn't it? It's important to know that profit isn't revenue. And if you only remember one thing from today, profit isn't revenue. I work with lots and lots of cleaning companies, and they think, I'm bringing in so much money. Look, our business is doing so well. But when we measure that against how much money they're spending, they're not actually doing so well at all. And so do you know how your business is spending money? And if you don't, I recommend that you do. I recommend that you get a program like QuickBooks and add all of your credit cards to QuickBooks and all of your bank accounts to QuickBooks and your personal accounts as well. So you can see what's coming in from your business, what you're spending on a personal level, what you're spending on a business level, how you're using your credit cards, how you're using your bank debit cards. Are you using other things like PayPal or Zelle or Cash App or Venmo or any of the other things, and you're randomly paying for things that are not being tracked? Because what happens is this: there are a lot of cleaning business owners that will get caught up in the moment and they buy stuff on Amazon for their business, or they are disorganized and they didn't do inventory. So on the way home tonight, oh, I'm out of all these cleaning supplies, and they swing by the local Walmart or Target or Kroger or whatever it is, and they buy ready to use cleaning supplies. And those are the cleaning supplies that come in the 32-ounce spray. It's got a little spray bottle, and it costs about $3.50 per bottle. And you're using ready-to-use cleaning supplies that you just bought off the shelf. Whereas if you were doing your inventory and you were being savvy at your spending, you might be buying a gallon or 2 gallons or 5 gallons of concentrate that you could dilute so that it would be 8 to 30 cents per spray bottle instead of $3.50. And so what happens if you're disorganized, you're going to end up wasting a lot of money because you don't know where the money's going. And if you don't know where the money's going, it's really hard to know if your business is actually making any money. And so a lot of people will come to me and they'll just say, my business is not making any money. I'm not keeping any of the money that we're earning. We have to stop and break it down and say, how are you spending? So not to drive a nail into a coffin, but if you don't know your numbers, it's really hard to be in business. So this is a tough lesson that I'm going to request that you learn. It's like the first rule of business 101 is, where's the money going that you're earning? All right. The next one is marketing. Never stop marketing. It is so easy to say, oh, times are bad, I think I'll market. And then when times are really good, we say, oh, I have all the business I need. And you turn off the marketing wheel. That's like hiring a person when you're desperate. We don't do it that way. How we market is like all the time. If we're always marketing, we're always going to be in front of people. Here's my point. You've heard of McDonald's, right? They still run McDonald's ads, and everybody on the planet has already heard of McDonald's. They already know about McDonald's, and they still run McDonald's ads. They still run Coca-Cola ads too. Why is that? And Doritos ads, everybody's heard of those, but they still keep marketing. And it's because when they're marketing, what happens is you become top of mind. So you want to make sure that your marketing includes all the things, whether it's social media, And it's not only social media, but it's social media, it's your website, it's things that you use, like your checklist that has your contact information and it has a QR code embedded on your checklist so that a customer can leave you ratings and reviews. It's a referral program that you have when a customer says, hey, I want to recommend you to my friend. And you're like, yes, I have a bonus for you. And you're able to reward them for that service of recommending and referring you to their friends or their neighbors. This is an ongoing standard operating procedure that will keep us top of mind even in slow times. So what happens is instead of having slumps in our business, because there are ebbs and flows and there are naturally slower months of the business than there are in some other businesses. But what happens is if you're always marketing, you're not going to hit a slump where like you go for weeks or months and don't have any clients. It's just going to be a constant revolving door because you'll always have new customers coming in. So that's a tough lesson, but easier to learn it now. All right, the next one is attitude. I have good news for you. This too shall pass. Whatever it is you're going through, it's going to pass. And it's really easy sometimes. Like I said, we have tapes that play in our heads. And we get really discouraged, or we might think, why am I in the cleaning business? I don't know. I don't know who made me be a house cleaner. This isn't for me. I should go get a real job. And you will have those days. Okay. In fact, you should have about 3 of those days per month. That's a natural biorhythmic thing where you self-doubt yourself and you're like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. You might have PMS, or you might just have a really hard day, or intellectually you might feel like you just hit a slump or whatever. It's okay. That makes you human. But you don't want to run out and quit your business every time you have a human kind of day. What you want to say is, this too shall pass. I'm kind of having a tough day today. And be aware. Be aware how your body is reading. A savvy cleaner, when we have a tough day like that, we say, hey, I'm having sensitivities today. And that means walk on eggshells around me, please. Don't look at me cross-eyed. Don't speak out of turn. Leave me alone. Let me just be who I am today in my own little corner of the world. And then I'll pop back out tomorrow and I'll be fine. And no relationships are damaged. But if you come at me today, I might snap your head off like, right? So if you have a bad day, that's okay. That just makes you human. And you want to make sure that being human doesn't devastate your business. So be aware and be kind to yourself, and just realize that maybe you underslept last night. Maybe you're having PMS. Maybe you had words with your spouse or your children or a friend or your parents or something, and it just threw you off in the wrong direction. You need to reset your energy, get regrounded, and then come back to being the best version of yourself. And that might be tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll be the best version of yourself. But don't take it out on your customers, and don't quit and say, oh, I just hate this business and this is not for me and I'm out of here. There are a lot of people that just quit and they give up way too easy. If you're going to be in the business for 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, you got to have a pattern of duration. And that means nothing is going to really wobble you too far. We call them, do you remember the Weeble people? Back way in the day, they had these little egg-shaped people, and you could like knock at them and they would like wobble back and forth. And their slogan was, Weeble people wobble, but they don't fall down. You got to be like the little Weeble people that will wobble, but they don't fall down. Okay. So make sure that even if you have a rough week, you're not desperate. You're not giving up. You're still going to be here tomorrow, because that's how your business is going to survive. The next one is having a budget. Cash flow is unpredictable, and you got to learn to live within your means. And what that means is when you get some money, you get a great big client and they sign up for a whole year and they give you a big down payment deposit. Don't run out and buy a fancy car. Don't run out and buy a fancy house. Don't buy all the latest expensive clothes and the fancy handbags and all that stuff. Cash flow is unpredictable. And if you're growing your business, you're going to have to take some of that money. You might have to move it around from account to account. You might have to use that for payroll. One of the biggest expenses in growing a cleaning business is payroll. And I've borrowed from my own personal piggy bank on numerous times so I could pay employees so that my employees would help me grow my business. And so if you don't have money that you've stored away for a rainy day, when a rainy day comes, like the carburetor on your car breaks or falls off and you don't have a way to fix it, now you have a problem. And so you want to learn to live within your means. So So every time there's a new shiny object that comes by, ask yourself this question: is this something I really need? Is this something that I want? And can my business afford it? Can I afford it? And if the answer is no, I really don't need it, I just want it, wait 21 days, because that will send you through a whole biorhythmic cycle. And as you go through, you're not going to find yourself at the same place. If you wait a full 30 days, you might be in a similar frame of mind. But wait for about 21 days and let it burn itself off. And oftentimes that thing we got to have right now will have diminished in our mind, and it's not as important, and we'll never spend the money on it. If it's something that you really want and it's been on your mind night and day, within 21 days, you've probably figured out a way to pay for it, picked up extra jobs in order to pay for it. But learn to live within your means and don't live high on the hog and don't live fancy, because at some point, somewhere along the way, there will be an emergency or your business will have to shift, and you might need to live off your savings for a year or 2 years. Even in my business, there are 5 times in 33 years, there are 5 times I had to stop and regroup. And that's when you have a crazy teenager all of a sudden that demands all of your attention, or you have a new baby in the house, or you have an elder parent or somebody that just, you're like, whoa, I can't do the same all out massive action on my business that I once did. And so if that's the case and you have to kind of like streamline and scale back, you got to have enough money to live off of. So pay attention to that. All right. The next one is freedom. Freedom in creating the life that you really wanted. And what this means is the business is not just the business. That's not your life. It's part of your life. And we covered this before, but let's cover it again. Having the freedom of being a business owner means that you have another life. It means that you sing in the church choir, or you've joined an acting club or an improv club. It means that you have a social life and you have friends. Maybe you like to do DIY projects around the house. Maybe you like to gather your family around and you go on trips. The reality is, though, if you don't have another life, or you don't have something you're doing besides cleaning, it's going to be really easy to get burned out and to become overwhelmed and to become disenchanted. So make sure that the cleaning is part of your life, but it's not your whole life. Okay. And then in closing, I want to share with you that vacations are really important. They're important for your physical body, for your mental well-being, for your cultural education, and to spend time with the people that you love the most. It's the reason in the beginning we got into business, is so that we could have a family and spend time and do things that bring our lives more value. Okay. So my recommendation is that you pay for your vacation and schedule your vacation 1 year in advance. And it's going to be really tough if you're living paycheck to paycheck and money is really tight. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to get to vacation time and you're going to go, I just can't afford to go. I didn't save any money. I can't afford to go. I don't have the time to go. I can't afford to leave my business. Not a good time. And you're not going to go. But if you've paid for it, if you told your staff and your employees that you're taking vacation, if you told your homeowners and your customers that you're taking vacation and it's already paid for, then you're a fool if you don't go. And I can't tell you how many times I got to that moment where I'm like, I just can't take off right now. And they're like, everyone in the world expects you to be gone right now and you've paid for it and it's non-refundable and you have to go. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go. And then I went, and by day 2 or 3, I just was like, oh, I'm so rejuvenated. I'm so relaxed. I got out of my head. I broke the pattern. I feel good. And by the time you come back, you're like, yes, I'm ready to go again. And so now, to this day, I take 6 vacations a year, which means between vacations, I run really hard and I work really hard and it's pedal to the metal, right? It's all out massive action, knowing that in just a couple of weeks, I've got a vacation where I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of nothing. And so let me hurry and work and get ready so that I can come in on that coasting scale and I can just coast my way through and really enjoy the work that I've done to get me to this moment. All right, so that is it for today. As we wrap up, what I want to share with you is that I am here for you to connect with. You can find me on all the social medias at Ask Angela Brown. Also, if you join SavvyCleaner.com, we have 2 2-hour sessions per month where I sit down with you live and we troubleshoot your business. We literally break down business by business, what you're doing, how we can fix it, how we can maneuver it, what we need to tweak. And it's like fine-tuning a really well-oiled machine, because that's what we're going to help you build. So join us at SavvyCleaner.com. We also have 2 Facebook groups that you can join. One is private. You must be a member. The other one is public. You can join us because we love you and we want you to participate with us, but we want to help you answer your questions and get your business up and running. And I say that because I really am here to help you succeed. When you succeed, I succeed. All right, that's it for today. And thank you again, ZenMade, for having me here for the 2025 conference. I'm really excited that I had the opportunity to join you. And thank you as a cleaner for watching this and for helping me leave the world a cleaner place.